trying to explain what is ESL to an ordinary person, what would be your comparison? What is ESL similar in the best way?
Well, the most simple answer to that would be that we're doing what the Bundesliga in Germany is doing for soccer, or the Premier League in the UK is doing for soccer. That is what we are doing for computer games. We're running a league for computer gamers, which is trying to make computer games a sport and give a competitive environment to the computer gamers themselves.
And what is the best element in conventional sports that can be easily transformed into an e-sport? Are there any aspects that can't be transformed at all? Emotions, challenges?
For sure, there has been a lot of scientific research going on around this phenomena of is electronic sports to be compared with classic sports, and the answer is yes, it is. We can see that many of the aspects that you find in classic sports like soccer, or you take tennis or golf, can be found in electronic sports. And the factors that you could see here is, on the one hand side, it requires skill and hand-eye coordination to be successful in a game. At the same time, it requires tactics, it requires team play if you're talking about a team game. And on the other hand side, from the spectator point of view, it can create emotions, it can create adrenaline for the people that watch the gamers play. So there's a lot of similarities between classic sports and what we now call esports.
And is there any thin line between sports and esports that keeps people think that playing on the computer or the game console is worse than running on the field like soccer players?
Well, the usual perception, or the first feedback that we get from many people when they look at this kind of new sport, is that they say, well, those people, they're not moving really. They're not starting to sweat when they play a computer game.
Sometimes they are.
Yes, of course they are, but that's the first thing that you think of. A gamer is sitting on a desk and he's playing a computer game. So why is that a sport? He's not even moving really. So I would say the physical momentum to the electronic sport is one of the biggest differences. But if you look at it from another way, there's many sports like chess, or there's many sports out there which don't require such an active physical participation. At the same time, a chess player like Kasparov, for example, he was very well known that he was training 2 or 3 hours a day with tennis to be in shape for a tournament or a big game in chess, because the physical condition and your physical status is so important to be able to fulfill high skilled mental power and to have the psychological element when you really need it. So yeah, the biggest difference is probably the physical involvement. But on the other hand side, now you see new gaming devices like the Nintendo Wii, for example, coming up. So we are now getting a physical momentum into electronic sports also in the computer.
So it's a very thin line, right?
It's a very thin line, yes.
Some people call you Michel Platini of esports. Is it true? What are the big plans for the esport in the Europe and in the whole world?
Well, I don't know who's saying that, but I think you're called or you're probably considered the person by what you do. You're defined by what you do. So what we are trying to do, what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to create electronic sports and make it big and get this to be the sports of the next decade, of the next century. And I think we've made it a good way already. I believe further down the road, within the next months, within the next years, we will see electronic sports nicely continue to grow. There is new exciting games coming up. There is a bigger and increasing perception in the target group for this kind of sport. So I think we're on the right track.
Are you going to be as big as the FIFA, or?
I guess we have a potential to be even bigger, because computer games are not don't have any boundaries within a certain sport. We play any kind of different computer games in different genres with different skill sets required, where the FIFA is dealing with soccer, and it's a big sport, but it's just one sport. We're dealing with a lot of sports, but just on a new level.
And the last questions we need to ask. How do you feel about German football team losing the Euro 2008 final game?
Well, at the end, the best team should win. I'm not quite sure if the German soccer team was necessarily the team that should have gone to the second place. But one thing is for sure, the Spanish team has deserved the European Championship, and they have been the better team. So there's no bad feelings for me. It's just the other way around. I have the biggest respect of the achievements and the skill and the power of the Spanish team.